Has anyone ever told you that your snare sounds like cardboard? Well, today we're going to embrace it. Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Eli Green and I have chronic gear acquisition syndrome, that is. Because I love drums, and anyone who's visited my studio can tell you that I have a lot of them, especially snare drums. My snare drum collection has grown substantially over the last few years to accommodate all number of requests made to me by the artists and the producers that I get to work with. And I wanted to make sure that I had every conventional drum sound at my disposal to keep my clients happy, and honestly, we're pretty much there. I have a bunch of different metal drums, steel, aluminium, brass, cast bronze. I have a whole heap of wood drums in different sizes and shell materials. And it begs the question, should I just stop there? Well, Mama didn't raise no quitter, and besides, with all the conventional sounds covered, now I'm looking for the less common, weird, and unique drums that do something that the rest just don't. Enter today's latest marketplace pickup, the 14x6.5 Remo Acousticon snare. Now, on the surface, this looks like a pretty normal snare, but I'm betting many of you had no idea that Remo even made drums, let alone what their proprietary Acousticon material is all about. Well, this thing is essentially compressed cardboard, with the shell being made out of recycled wood fibers and resin. Kind of like fiberglass, but also not. It's definitely its own beast. Now, I picked this thing up for about $100 off of Marketplace, and other than a quick tap when the guy dropped it off to me, I haven't played it. It's been sitting on the shelf the way it was given to me, so I wanted to turn the camera on, go through a setup and maintenance session with a new drum, show you guys what I do, and also record some samples of it, which you guys can get to use in your own music. So I'll explain more about that a little bit later. And we're also going to draw the long overdue winner of the X5 PX contest. But for now, let's check out this snare drum, shall we? Let's get into this. I am recording everything with this little small diaphragm condenser. It is completely dry. We're just going to be hearing what the drum sounds like in the room. This is what it sounds like having not touched it since it was sold to me and sitting on my rack for a while in a hot studio. A little bit of twang to it, but it's honestly not too bad, right? Straight out the gate. All right, let's rip this thing apart and see what's going on underneath the hood. Wow, okay. I've never actually looked at the inside of one of these. It's surprisingly like a pretty rough texture. I mean, I don't know what this drum suffered in its life, but there's quite a bit of like buckling. Let's see if I can get the camera to pick it up. Not sure if you can see, but like you can kind of see there's like a shadow along the rim here. The shell's actually like kind of buckling inside. From what I understand about these drums is they're not known for their rigidity. So we'll be a little careful as we're like putting this all together. Some of the lugs are a little loose. So I'll take the bottom head and hoop off and probably fix them up. Let's do that. Okay, wires off. And bottom head and hoop off. Okay. A little dusty. Now you can definitely see here, there's definitely some damage on the inside of the shell. It's like buckled in quite hard, and it's like the coating is actually starting to chip off. There's another little chip there. Hard to see, but it's there. Actually, you can see, I don't know how I missed this before. This drum's already had a bit of a repair. Someone's gone in and put a bit of resin in there to fix that up. You know what I think is really cool about this? I really like this little like band across here that says like Acousticon SX. I just think that's kind of like, I think that's kind of dope. Okay, I'm gonna tighten up some of these lugs. I'm not actually convinced that these are the original lugs. That's kind of the fun in getting a secondhand snare, you know, or third or fourth hand, you know, like you don't really know what it's been through. Now, given that this drum is already like kind of buckling under its own, you know, weight here. I'm interested to see, you know, how great we can really tune this thing up. But again, that's kind of the fun of it, right? You know, this was $100. You could do a lot worse than $100 on a snare drum. We have a threaded bolt here, okay? In fact, the other one is too. Cool. Okay, managed to tighten that one up a little bit. I'm being a little gingy here. I'm kind of picking my battles as to which ones really need to be tightened. Also, if I look like I'm glistening and sweating in here, it's a 40-degree day and I can't record audio with the air conditioner on. So you might have a very wet YouTuber at the end of this. This definitely isn't the same hardware it's shipped with, because look at this situation right here. Oop, look at this situation right here. You know, like these two screws are like overlapping on each other. There's no way that would have happened out of the factory. So I think we're pretty good on tension. Let's give it a quick clean. Now, if I was going to do this a little bit more intensely, like if I was looking to restore this drum or sell it or make a bit more of a showpiece out of it, I'd probably go to a bit more of an effort to clean it. But honestly, just like a little citrus-based cleaner is enough for me, just to get the grime off of it, rub it over with a microfiber cloth. That is going to get most of the grossness out of the way. With a big chrome drum like this, as old as it is and as banged up as it is, I don't think we're going to get it back to that like total mirror shine without like really getting in there. But if we can at least take the edge off, it's already looking better. Make sure the bearing edge is nice and clean. Yeah, that's better. Okay, new heads. Remo Ambassador Hazy for the bottom. There's the logo. Gotta line up your logos. Bottom hoop. Again, just also give a quick rub down. Our head is on there. Now, I'm gonna drill this in, but I'm not gonna do it to the point where it touches the hoop, because some weird stuff can happen. But I'm just gonna get it down to the point where it's about to touch. Okay. Quick finger tight. It's so hot in here. Right, I'm just gonna give this a quick basic tension. We're not tuning, I'm just getting things to the point where they're holding some tension. I predict that this drum could be a challenging one to even out, given the awkwardness of that bearing edge. Oh, we got a lug that's slipping. All right, we're gonna come back to that. We might need to replace it. That aside, controlled sound. Okay, finger tight. Sounding good. Let's put some wires on it. Right, wires are on. Let's give it a quick tune up to a tension. Oh no. We have 2 broken lug casings. Okay, that is not very good. We might need to do a part 2 where I fix the lug casings. Well, I'll tune up the top as best I can, see what we can get out of it, and see if part 2 is a thing. But good. A little high. I think given that we've got 2 broken lug casings on the bottom and we can't get any tension on there, we're a little bit stymied, but there is a nice kind of like fat, warm kind of tone here. And even though there's a little bit of ring, with a tiny bit of muffling, that could be a very nice, like dry, fat control drum. Let's stop there. I'm gonna get some replacement lug casings for it, and fast forward to when it's done. Okay, day 2 of the Acousticon snare. I took this home with me last night and opened up the problem lugs just to have a look at what was going on. There wasn't anything crazy happening. I figured out the problem was actually to do with the tension rods. Either they'd worn down over time or they were a slightly different thickness. I'm not really sure what, but there was a small amount of play inside the lug casing. So as we're reaching those higher tensions, it was just enough for them to just pull straight out and not hold it. So I've replaced them with some slightly more girthy tension rods, and they seem to be holding just fine. So we're gonna tune this sucker up and see what sort of sounds we can get out of it. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you would know that I'm a huge advocate for this device here, the TuneBot. It's fantastic. Now, while it doesn't replace the need to tune by ear, that is a skill that you as a drummer must develop if you want to get good drum sounds. It is an extremely helpful device for me as someone on the internet trying to hopefully impact the way you tune your drums, because I can tell you what settings I've set my drum to. If you grab one of these devices, you can go and set them to the exact same thing, and there's no guesswork in it. It's going to be the same settings that I used, and you can tweak to taste based on the drum and the room and whatever else you're trying to achieve, but you can at least use these settings as a starting point, unlike every other tutorial on the internet that's like, yeah, I don't know, I just twiddle the tension rods clockwise 3.5 times, say a Hail Mary, and my drums sound great. You can do it too. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Now, when I'm doing bottom heads, I like to put a little stick under the wires just to hold them up so I can actually hear what's going on. Be careful doing that. If you've only got any burrs on the stick, it's going to like pull on the wires. Just be very gentle as you do it. I'm gonna hold the bottom under here with my left hand, and I'm just gonna tap around and see where we're at. This is tuned to approximately 400 hertz. We're about 398 on the TuneBot. So that's about where I like to have a bottom head. I'm not gonna mess with it. I kind of tuned this up by ear just earlier just to make sure everything could hold its tension. Seems to be fine. Sounds good. I like this range because even if I just mute this bottom head, the top head, and just tap that, that nice kind of sizzle, that like hi-fi kind of sound we'd like out of a snare drum. It doesn't have any weird wonky overtones. Even just like that, it's kind of got that like reminiscent flavor of, oh, it sounds like a snare drum. Okay, cool. Back to the batter side. So I arbitrarily just like tuned this up to a tension while I was in a drum lesson just before with someone, and I don't know where it's at. So let's turn the TuneBot on and let's have a look. About 287 hertz. So that's actually a pretty good range for a drum. It's like kind of like low and meaty, but not so low that it's like flappy and it's going to require a ton of muffling. Let's have a listen to it as is and compare it to the other one. It's certainly got a fair bit of ring to it, which we can definitely take out with muffling, but the actual tone of it I quite like. I quite enjoy the tone of the drum. Let's move it around a little bit more and see if we can get something else. I might actually try a little bit lower. Okay, this is 277, a little bit lower again. Certainly very ringy, but I quite like the tone of it. Now, because as we saw when we were putting the drum together, the bearing edges are a mess. This could be a little difficult to get perfectly even all around. So we might get some weird overtones that we otherwise wouldn't like. That sounds kind of nice. What are we at here? Sort of around that 277 again. That's pretty cool. Nice low fundamental of 187 hertz. About 282, right? Still got a bit of ring to it, so we can bring in a little bit of muffling, our snare weight with just 170s insert. Oh! Shorten the wires out a bit. Wow, that sounds good. Yeah, I like it. Let's throw it on the kit and see what it can do. So I'm pretty stoked on this drum. It feels super unique compared to a lot of the other drums that I own, and I think it fills a niche that could make it a bit of a secret weapon here at the studio. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video that I would supply some samples for you guys to use. They are over on my Patreon, along with a bunch of other snare samples that I've taken, including my Paramore, Deftones, and Sleep Token snares that you can check out full videos here over on my channel. All you gotta do is head over to the Patreon, sign up to the one tier to rule them all, and you can download and freely use any of the samples on the page. It's only $5 USD and goes a very long way to helping make sure that I can make more of these videos for you guys, make more samples, just be a cool drum guy on the internet. And finally, let's reveal the winner of the X5 PX unit from my last video. Congratulations to Sam NZ Drum. You have won a brand new X5 PX 3-channel personal mixer, so shoot me an email at the email below and we'll get you hooked up. And just one more final personal note to end on. Life got kind of crazy for me at the end of 2024, and without going into too much detail, I just found myself extremely overworked, juggling way too many things, and unfortunately, we suffered a death in our family, and it ground everything in my life to a halt, and I had to stop and focus on what was important, which was getting some balance back in my life. So it's been a while between videos, and I just wanted to acknowledge that to you guys, let you know that I am very much back on the ball here in 2025. We've already got some really awesome stuff locked in, some great ideas for videos. I'm very excited. So please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the fun. Go check out the Patreon. I just wanted to say a special thank you to all the patrons who kept their subscriptions up during this period of inactivity. That means a lot. That was really awesome of you guys. So yeah, thanks, and I'll see you on the next one.